Showing at the Queen's Gallery, Buckingham Palace until the 8th of October 2023 is a fabulous exhibition called Style and Society Dressing the Georgians. It showcases paintings, artefacts, clothing and prints from the Georgian era, all focused on fashion and society trends. We spent a glorious afternoon there taking in these delights and have chosen a few of our favourites to share with you. Don't worry if you've missed the exhibition though, Anna Reynolds has written a book to accompany it that covers the same content and serves as a great read in its own right. Caroline, would you like to go first?
I would love to actually. I've come across a beautiful piece which resembles a large wooden briefcase really, which opens from the top, made of mahogany, around 1800. It's actually a travelling service. And it incorporates about 100-ish separate pieces that all fit together into this travelling box so that you can do your makeup, etc., hair on the move. Bowls, bottles, scissors, brushes, etc. 100 of these individual little items.
Sounds like quite a lot of stuff.
It does sound like a lot of stuff. Some things I have no idea what they were used for whatsoever. There's some individual pieces that just look quite horrific, like torture instruments, really.
Oh, wow.
My favourite thing, though, about this box is a certain little set consisting of what looks like a Bunsen burner, really, a metal Bunsen burner, a metal canister, coffee pot, and then also a kind of tall lidded saucepan, all made of silver gilt.
Nice. I can see that here. We'll put pictures in the show notes, of course, so people can see what we're talking about.
This was actually used for making hot drinks. So if you can imagine getting ready in the morning, it's a bit chilly, or even taking your stuff off at the end of the night, you're not sitting by the fire, you're sitting at the dressing table. Mm-hmm. So it's a bit cold.
So would I just be using this if I was staying in a hotel or the like?
Yeah, on the move.
Yeah, on the move.
Or at a friend's house, you're staying at a friend's house, and it's basically your overnight bag.
Right.
But specifically for hair and makeup and
hot chocolate.
And hot chocolate. Exactly. You're sitting there getting ready. You're probably sitting there for hours on end because some of these elaborate getting ready ceremonies, hours and hours and hours. You're going to get hungry. You're probably going to get thirsty. Yeah. It's cold. There's something to warm you up in the morning, get you going.
Warming the cockles.
So you get your Bunsen burner out.
Mm-hmm. Fire it up. Make yourself a beautiful little hot chocolate. Well, it's a lovely idea.
I love the idea. And the smell and taste association of getting ready.
I guess it's a little bit like an early tea's maid.
But incorporated into your makeup bag and your hairdressing set.
Yes. All
together. Everything you need. There's even, I think, an implement for cleaning your gun.
Okay.
Everything is
covered. Could you do soup in it? Perhaps?
I don't see why not. You could have a cup of soup, I think.
Okay.
Be delicious.
I think it's a very practical piece of kit.
What about the exhibition caught your eye, Law?
I found something called a sabretache.
Okay,
Do you know what a sabretache is?
I don't think I saw that one.
Ah, okay. I'm very pleased to report that I found some early examples of bumbags. These were called sabretaches. Very flat pouches worn from the waist by soldiers, and you could carry dispatches or information, paperwork in them. What we have, as you will have heard in my soundbite there from the exhibition, is a flat bag or pouch, probably about, I would say, the length of a piece of A5 paper, and the width is probably similar. And these would be suspended from a belt, the belt of a soldier, so they have little metal rings. You'll see that they're slightly narrower at the top than they are at the bottom. And I don't believe that they would use a strap attachment, though I guess you could if you wanted to. It's just more likely to have it flapping around off your waist.
See, yeah.
Yeah, so very much like our modern bum bags. Yeah,
Trust you to find a bum bag.
Or a utility belt, something like that, They are for carrying paperwork or documents, so perhaps envoys in the army might be shuttling around between different regiments or different generals or commanders and have information or instructions, military manoeuvres in your
Bum
sabretache, in your bum bag. Right. They are quite elaborate in
see
detail. My favourite one is the black one at the top. So there's a selection of swords and feathers and flags. So very military in the design there. But I really liked the decoration, the level of intricacy that's gone into these.
What is that decorated with? Is that stitching in silk?
It looks like silver stitching,
Oh,
so
wow.
silver thread. So if that's just something that's holding, I know obviously military paperwork is important, but there's obviously a huge amount of effort that's gone into that, and it's using expensive fabrics and expensive materials. So the image is still very important. I'd like a bum bag like that. So yeah, the thing that I was interested in particularly here was with something that was so mundane in its use, just a receptacle for carrying bits of paper from one place to another. They're a very visual, vibrant, decorated piece of kit, really quite striking on the eye. They're not scrimping on the decoration.
Really not. They're pouring some money into these
Yeah.
bags.
So that's the bum bag done. What have you got?
I'm going to shift the focus actually
Ooh.
to King George himself.
Upgrading.
Maybe a big upgrade. Actually, in a way, it's not. Not focusing on a piece of his clothing that you necessarily expect me to focus on. It's not one of the elaborate court dresses. It's not a fancy waistcoat, anything like that. It's a linen undershirt that King George wore circa 1810. Actually, exactly 1810, because we've got the year on the shirt.
It's sewed it in.
It's sewed it in.
Nice. So this is George III then, 1810.
George III, beautiful white linen undershirt, quite long really. I'd liken it to a nightie or something like that.
It is quite long, isn't it?
And then ruffles down the front,
Nice.
high neck, tight round the neck, and then also tight round the wrist cuffs as well. Everywhere else is quite voluminous and airy. Linen was worn next to the body because it's quite a hard-wearing fabric. You can sweat into it, you can wash it. It's not as delicate as your outer garments, which would be made of more expensive fabrics that you don't want to wash. Maybe even are a bit itchy, you know, like wool's a bit itchy.
Yeah.
You have linen next to the skin because it's not itchy. Here is an example of a little intimate detail, because on the right hand side, hip level, are his initials sewn into the garment. GR, so George Rex, with a little crown above.
Just in case you didn't get the message with the Rex.
Just in case. And then the year 1810 is below the GR initials. This is all done in very small red stitches. It's a lovely little intimate detail because as this is an undergarment, nobody else would have seen it. Very few people would have seen this actual detail.
Yeah, the piece itself didn't need to be decorated at all, really, because it was under everything else.
It really doesn't need his initials on it at all.
No.
So it kind of reminds me when you're at school, you've got your PE kit with your name in it.
Oh, yeah.
But that's for getting lost. I presume George's undergarments wouldn't go missing that often.
No.
But you know, some people still get their initials sewn into their shirts.
Yes.
People come into the office, sometimes on the cuff, sometimes on the pocket.
Yes, they do. A little monogram, don't they?
Monogram. But that's very much on show and to be seen almost if you've got the cuff poking out the bottom of your suit jacket.
Yeah.
This I like because probably only George, his very close servants, and his wife, his children would have seen this little detail. So it's there, but it's not a showing off. Here is my monogram.
Very, as you say, it's intimate, isn't it?
It's intimate. It's a visual. It's there. It's something that's saying I'm the king, but it's something so few people would have actually been able to see.
I'm with you. On the flip side of that, I've got, if we could just swing around and talk about Queen Charlotte then,
Please
George
do.
III's wife. I found a painting of her in her coronation robe, which is the complete opposite of your simple linen undershirt. This shows the get-up that she wore when she was crowned. Really nice, isn't it? So you'll see from the photo, mainly gold and blue and white with a little bit of dark blue or black in the ermine and the fur trim. I quite like it, actually, although there's a lot going on.
They're not really your colours though, Laura.
I don't know, I like blue.
That's true.
I do like gold.
Oh, that's true. Yeah, fine. You look great in it.
I would. Look fabulous. There's a lot going on, but I think it's still quite elegant and not simple, but just quite streamlined in a way. So very visually different to George's undershirt, as you would expect for a coronation robe. The diamonds on the stomacher, which is at the front of the corset, in that sort of inverted triangle shape,
Yes.
you can see there. Loads and loads of diamonds all joined together and encrusted onto that. And I think the sum total of this outfit cost something like, in today's money, £9.8 million.
So that, what she's wearing there costs £9.8 million.
Yeah, the equivalent in today's money.
There's a lot of lace, a lot of silk, a lot of fur.
Yeah, looks very heavy.
I hope it wasn't a hot day.
Well, it was September. The coronation was on the 8th of September, so it could potentially have been pretty warm. When she's only 17, poor girl, at this point. And I think she spent roughly 3 months at sea, relatively recently, trying to just get over to England. So,
oh, bless her.
I know. Yeah, I just thought that was an interesting contrast to your piece. It wasn't one of the main ones I wanted to talk about, but...
Okay, what is your final question?
My final piece, then. This one was my favourite.
In the whole exhibition?
In the whole exhibition. Not because there were things in there that were much more beautiful and much more elegant, but I just really liked the functionality of it.
Okay, a bit like the bumbag.
A bit like the bumbag, yes. So what we have in this picture is a miniature bellows and sprinkler set for applying hair powder.
Dry
Yeah,
shampoo.
a bit like your dry shampoo, almost. So you can see what we've got here. We've got a small set of bellows, and you might, well, what would you use bellows for nowadays? Anything?
Stoking your fire. If you have proper fireplace.
Yeah, proper fireplace. So this is a miniature set, so much smaller than what you would see at a fireside.
How big?
About the size of...
Guinea pig?
Yeah, maybe about the size of a guinea pig. Where did you pluck that one from?
Because it looks about the size of a guinea pig.
Very accurate, yeah. Also, next to that, you've got a sort of conical implement, which has got... It looks like a load of curtain hooks or curtain rings all put together, all stacked together. And at the end there, you can see the flat part. That's almost, think of a sieve for sieving flour. Yeah, so what you do is you'd pour the hair powder into the wider end.
Yes.
And then sprinkle it on your hair using that narrower end.
Right, like a pepper pot.
Like a pepper pot or sieving flour or something like that, so you get a more of an even
And then what
shake.
were the bellows for?
So the bellows, I believe these were for just puffing the powder around. I'm imagining that the two implements would get you slightly different effects with your hair powder.
Yeah, one would be quite a lot of powder in one area, whereas the bellows would spread it around.
Would spread it out. It might depend on how big or elaborate your hair was that particular day. The little bag at the back, it's a leather pouch with a leather drawstring. You put the sprinkler in there. It held the powder. It would make sure that it wasn't going everywhere, because obviously, fine powder, it's going to be a bit messy, isn't it? So you want to try and contain it and not lose the excess, because perhaps this powder was an expensive commodity. You could actually get powder that was fragranced and coloured as well, so tinted, a bit like hair dye. Probably be quite easy to get things like pale purples or pale blues. Vibrant colours might be a bit trickier too.
Kind of having a blue rinse on your hair.
A little bit like a blue rinse,
Why not?
In fact, if we look at some episodes of Bridgerton, Queen Charlotte's got very bluey tones in her hair, hasn't she? Yeah, so
this is an effect from the powder.
The usual approach for using the powder, you do a base level, and apparently then you'd shampoo and set your hair.
Oh.
So you'd put some powder on first, then you'd shampoo it, then you'd set it. How we would understand set would be styling, really. So getting it into the shape that you want, and then either using a setting lotion or a hairspray to try and keep it in that position. And then you'd put more powder on.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, so actually maybe the bellows and the sprinkler were used at the different stages.
Different times. So first sprinkle on, set, and then do a final puff.
Yeah, maybe a final puff. Sounds fun.
It sounds wafty.
It sounds wafty, it sounds quite elaborate, it sounds open to error. I can imagine there would be a lot of first tries with just clumps of powder in the wrong place.
Yeah. Maybe refreshing on a hot day, though, to have somebody bellowing your hair.
Possibly. The hair pieces, some of them were enormous, weren't they? So probably quite uncomfortable anyway. Yeah. But if they're fragrance, then at least maybe they smell nice.
Thanks for joining us today for this bonus episode on the Georgians. We hope you enjoyed it and see you next time. Bye.
Bye. Remember, you can follow Sistery History on Twitter, Instagram and Facebook, and you can contact us at sisteryhistory@gmail.com.